Playboy.
Hey, what's up?
You, Captain. Thanks for doing this, man.
Yeah, no problem.
This might be the most selfish podcast Zoom ever because there's so much I want to know on how you move and groove and do things. So I'm going to be selfish and ask a whole bunch of questions that I want answers to because I want to get better. So first one is, how you doing, man?
It's 2021. We made it. So I have to be happy about that. Overall, I mean, just managing, stress and stuff like everybody else, and just keeping positive vibes going daily.
Have Mrs. is good?
Yeah, she's hanging in. She's always she's like Mona, man, like always staying busy, always working hard, keeping us in line, so yeah, she's doing well.
That's the one thing I noticed, that you and I got a couple good ones.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. I'd say we would not be the same for sure without them.
It takes a strong woman to be by our side, or very an independent, strong woman that's there, that says no when she wants no, and yes, and when, it doesn't cater to us.
Correct. Yeah, no, it's definitely important. I mean, Shri and I have been together for quite some time, and I think one of the many things that I appreciate is that she is her own person, and it is difficult for someone like myself who's been in limelight and had a lot of success to have a real companion, but someone that can be as selfless as she has been. She is definitely the definition of that. But also has impacted my life in ways of showing me that, hey, Phil, like these are things that can be reciprocated too, because as you know, a lot of bodybuilders, including myself, are very, very selfish, very self-driven, self-motivated, but can be very selfish with their time and our attention to things. And then, I will say that Shri has always reminded me that, hey, it ain't always about you, kid. It's I'm over here too, and that's what I truly believe is what a partner is. Which is a soulmate is someone that holds you accountable, and is always willing to put their foot down and say, hey, these are the things that we had agreed upon, and I'm going to hold you to that. And then for me to not run away and point fingers, but to say, you know what, babe, you're absolutely right. Things have been really good. And that's probably why people see us together so much, is because she is my best friend.
That's a great point you made, because I got a question then, because of the fact that when you get ready for the O, or you got something that you're locked down, like UFC fighters, actually, a lot of them will leave the home front and go and lock themselves down for 8 to 12 weeks, in a sense, for their fight. And when you do that, how is her, I guess it would be her, because she's a teammate as well as a partner. And there's that point where you go, okay, now it's game time. I got to get ready. It allows that time for you to do what you need to do. And then afterwards, is there a break where you're like, okay, now you did yours, now it's us?
Right. Shri has always managed to remind me of what's important. And that is, be the best at everything you do. But when it came down to competition life, like when she got in, like when we were together, when we first started dating and she moved in with me, we hit the ground running, literally. Like we were traveling the world together. We were doing all this stuff. And it was important because she had to be immersed into this entire ecosystem of mine. And then to say, okay, now I understand. Because a lot of people, like if I were to, push her aside and say, hey, I'm going to go to work, I'm going to go do this. Well, she won't have a true understanding of what I really need. When I'm not always mentally there, when I'm low on my fuel, when my capacity has been depleted, she's been able to walk that walk with me. And with that has, we've learned a lot about each other, a lot of communication. She's seen me at my absolutely freaking worst. But most importantly, she's seen me at my best as well. And you know, when you walk it together, I truly feel like when I win, she wins. And then when the and you know, for instance, like, you know, we would do an Olympia. I remember, gosh, it must have been like 4 or 5 years ago. We did Olympia, and you know, we won, and then I didn't shut that off. So next thing you know, we're on a vacation, really nice vacation, I mean, a lot of money. Had a time of our, we thought we were gonna have the time of our life, when really she did, but it was separate. And it was only because of my dumb ass being so consumed with what's next, what's the next show, what's the next rep, the next set, next workout, that I was still processing in my head what I could have done to be, you know, 6-time Mr. Olympia or 7-time, where really I should be saying, ah, I just won. Great. I got this beautiful woman with me that loves me. I spent all this money that we worked so hard to attain, like these things. This is supposed to be the life. And I'm still consumed with that while I'm a fucking idiot. And I ended up that same year having to redo the vacation 2 months later just to redeem myself as a spouse, like as a partner, to say, hey, look, babe, that's my bad.
Right.
Like, I should have never done that. And that was you can learn lessons two ways, right? You can learn lessons inexpensively or expensively. I would say that was an expensive lesson to a degree. But overall, I mean, that's a part of the journey, is figuring out, you know, what makes you tick, having a partner who understands that and almost better than you, and will call you out on it and bring you back. But then what keeps you there is for me to understand, again, the theme is, it ain't always about you, kid. You got to look at the other person and say, what value am I bringing into her life? And because that doesn't happen to always be with competing and, you know, the fame of being a Mr. Olympia champion. There is more to life than that.
So I hear you and I hear what you're saying. So then let's dissect it just a second, because to be the very best, you got to give up some stuff to be the very best. And also,
Right.
You said it, bodybuilders are selfish. You know, it is, you know, our time, our meals, our rest. When the diet hits us, we're fatigued. It's about us. So how do you, because you are the gift, you are this man that has held the title so many times, and you have to give up so much. How did you process this? Because everybody's listening to this going, well, you're on vacation. You want it. It's easy as pie. It's not that easy. It's not that easy for somebody that is as great as you, that drives to be great, that, you know, continues to move forward. And I understand that process. And I have an issue where I'm, okay, this is great. What's next? What's next?
Right.
What's next? And Mona's there going, wait a minute. Whoa. Same kind of, you're done with this. Where's us? And so what was it that, if you can articulate this in a way that everybody can understand, how can you shut down that incredible drive that you have to say, okay, I need to give something more to the partner?
Well, it's almost like, I mean, you and I both like movies like action and Star Wars and stuff like that. But what happens at the end? At the end of the battle, what do people do? They rejoice. They embrace. They don't say, oh, what's the next galaxy I have to go dominate? They rejoice because they understand that that is what we need to do. That is what we deserve to do. We deserve that. So you're staying in the moment, which is of gratitude that we got here, that we completed the task, we completed the mission. Doesn't that require celebration? Doesn't that require celebrating the people who got you there? Because you didn't do it by yourself. Doesn't it require you to stay in that moment so that when it is time to go back to battle, whether it be in the boardroom or in the weight room, that person or those people will be like, okay, we're recharged. But if you're always like, "Hey, what's wrong, Phil?" "Well, I'm getting ready for next week's guest posing." It's like, dude, you just freaking won the Olympia. Can you take a picture with your girl and celebrate? Can you kiss? Can you do something? Can you make love or whatever? No, no, no. I got to get ready for this next meal. It's like you have to give yourself that moment, excuse me, to exhale, to look around and to say, wow, I did it. And to be in that moment, to be
Yeah.
in that moment where you got the job, you got the promotion. She said yes to the first date. She said yes to marry you. Be in that moment, because all that other crap, it's gonna wait. But what memories, and I guess to be shorter with it, is what memories, guys, girls, are you trying to create? If you're trying to create real memories, you'll be in the moment. If you're just going with the flow, then you'll continue to do that other stuff and always think that you have to have your blinders on to get more success. You already got it. Enjoy it. Enjoy it. Because who knows, man? Maybe tomorrow it's not going to be the same. But
Yeah.
you want to have to say, like you and I both know, like at some point in time, we are going to get older, and we want to look back at our lives and say, wow, that was a really good memory. Wow, that was a really good moment. Not, damn, I really missed out on that moment. I wish I'd have taken a photograph. Wow, I wish I would have, really held my girl tighter, because now I'm older and I wish, I don't want that. So I think it does come with a level of maturity.
Yeah. I was going to say,
It definitely comes with um, true reflection of self and honoring the people who ride with you.
because I imagine that for you, for anybody to win what you have won is tremendous, and that moment is a pinnacle. Does it heighten to be able to go spend the celebration with her and the family and the friends? And I've met some really close friends of yours, and the amount of love and respect they have for you is beautiful. And so it's like winning, I imagine, is something. It's so few people in the world has ever in history have done. But to celebrate with your friends, knowing that you went through that battle and you came out the other side and they're there with you. That moment, huh? That's the memory.
That's the part. Those are the parts that mean the most, right? And you can easily lose sight of it, because okay, when you were growing up and you were playing football, I'm sure your coaches said, don't pay attention to the newspaper too much. Don't read too much into it. And you're like,
don't believe your own hype.
Right. But at some point in time, man, it's like I deserve to believe in it for a little bit. Number one, to remind myself that I actually did it. Program in my head that is possible. To look at the people who helped me get there, and then to have the confidence to say, I'm going to do this again. But to be in the moment, and to me, being in the moment is actually showing gratitude. And I think that's the key term here. It's like, if you're in gratitude, you're going to, it's great to have those people along with you, but to celebrate with them isn't it? Like, that is greatness. To have everybody say, man, it was so cool to be able to hit the weights with you, Mike. And like, it was so fun to go to that expo, and like, we all enjoyed our stuff. Yeah, it was tiring, but it was so cool that, you took time out to all the fans, but you still made time for us at the end to let us know that, yeah, we carried your bags. We did this. We made sure that you looked great. But no, it's like, it's cool to know that you actually thought about us. And you know what's going to happen? I'm going to come back, and whenever you need me again, Mike, I'm going to be there. People want to feel loved back. They have no problem with fanning your flames, including the people who you sleep next to. But if you don't live in a sense of gratitude, they're going to feel somewhat like, damn, dude, like, okay, I mean, I get it. You're great and everything, but she's like, is there any room for me? Like, where's my identity? Where's my victory? And it ain't always about you. So, I truly believe that it's important, especially in this world that we are living in, to be more in gratitude and to be able to thank other people, not just at the end, but during. I'll give you your roses, I'll give you your flowers, Mike, immediately. I'm not going to wait until you're 80 years old to give them to you. And that goes with the people who are in your closest inner circle. And that's something that I really admire seeing what you do, is that you work really hard, but yet I see the laughter and the togetherness of your inner circle. And I think it's really important that people understand that that is something that you created. You created that environment, your attitude, positive attitude, and you're always here to give inspiration back through your own perspective, experiences, etc. And that's why people want to be around that, because you're a magnet. You know, it's like you're a positive dude, so people want to hang out. And this is the key to some other people I see in the industry. It's like, you attract the wrong energy, you're going to get it. So you have to be very mindful and realize, like, what are you truly putting out there? If you're being fake, you're going to attract fake stuff.
Exactly.
You know, if you're being within gratitude and actually being able to say thank you to a lot of people, I think you're going to have a much more memorable experience in everything you do, even on the crappiest days. You know, I don't have, you know, top days. You know, I have adversity, but I think when I'm able to take a step back and realize how far I've come, who I've been around, and being thankful for this experience, I, for some reason, tend to have a different smile on my face that says that the future is brighter.
I got a question for you then, because you kind of led into it right there, and it's a good segue into this. The circle of friends, the people that you hang out with, not everybody gets your time. Not everybody gets a piece of you. You're at such a level now that it's interesting. It's a tough give and take. You know, I want to be friends with everybody. I want to say hi to everybody, but I don't have that much energy. I don't have that much time, and I can't get back to everybody. So
Right.
With that being said, how do you, so I can also do this for myself, how do you give your energy in the sense of, because you got so many fans that love you, that want to talk to you, that reach out to you, send DMs and emails, and there's so many ways to get a hold of somebody. How do you turn that off, and how do you go, okay, I talked to Mark Bell once, and he says sweat equity. If somebody's going to work with you or communicate with you, there's got to be some kind of sweat equity. It can't be just everybody. Is there something that you dissect and go, I'll give my attention to this place here, and then that's it, and then kind of shut myself down? Because I know it's a energy thing.
Yeah.
With everybody at an expo, I'll get to an expo fired up, but 3 hours later, I'm emotionally and physically drained by just meeting people, because you're giving out energy the whole time.
Yeah. It's
How do you do that?
I suffer from the same thing throughout majority of my career. And, you know, I realized that I, like yourself, we're giving people, and you want to see their smile on their face. And you remember when, like, hey, I remember when I was an amateur, 2004 in October, I believe Ronnie Coleman had just won the Olympia. He came to Denver, Colorado, and I waited over 4 hours between prejudging and night show to get an autograph. I bought 4 8x10s. I still remember that. And I remember how I felt. I felt nervous. I felt like, oh my gosh, what am I going to say? I wasn't pro yet. And, you know, I recall of times where, you know, I've seen athletes not be so kind, and what that's done to some of my friends and in other sports and stuff. So I understand that. And, like, a simple example, me going to the Olympia, when we'd have the expo, the Meet the Olympians, I can only be there for like 90 minutes. Now, granted, that's not enough time to see 500 to 1,000 people that have lined up. So I'm really only going to be able to see the people that bought the VIP package, right? Because they're there an hour before everybody else.
Because I don't think society understands. Not only are you taking time to go do this, you were dieted down. You just spent the last couple of months. So it's not like you're Joe Blow watching this going, what do you mean you don't have more time? You don't have, no, I know what it's like.
Before the show.
Depleted. And then on top of it, you got the stress of, I want to compete tomorrow. I want to do some battle. And my mind's here. And so I can't fathom that stress that you're trying to do, and then you're still trying to take and meet your fans. So I think that's awesome. But
you do have the pressure of social media, because you do realize that even though you're in a heavy depleted state, if you give someone the wrong look, they can run with that and create a narrative that honestly can impact your image and also the way people see you to want to do business with you. So you have to remind yourself, okay, I'm not going to be fake. So what can I do? I can be there on time, make sure that I not be super long-winded with each and every person that does want your time. But, you find a balance. There are going to be people that want to just buy stuff and take a picture and leave. There are going to be people that want to tell you their whole life story. So you do have those people like in your group that kind of keep the flow going. But what I will say is that people who have gone to that Meet the Olympians, they will remember that I will at some point have someone count to like 100 people, and that person stays in that line. Whoever's in the back behind that person, eventually everybody gets pushed up to the front. I stand on the chair. I actually have everybody come into like a tiered area, and I speak to all of them. And I basically tell them, look, appreciate it. I'm sorry that I couldn't shake each and every one of your hands, take pictures with each and every one of you. You can video this if you like. I do love each and every one of you for putting your time, effort, money, resources to even come, and just your patience to stand in line. But I can't shake all your hands because I got to go kick some ass tomorrow. I appreciate it. And then I go on my way. And every freaking time I've done that, people have clapped. They've walked away feeling like, okay, at least he saw me. And I think one thing that we both have to remember is that I can't speak for every fan, but I can say this: when they see you, sometimes that is enough. So like, think of it like, in basketball, when the NBA players, and I'm sad to say is my favorite sport, but when they walk through the locker room, they go like this, and they keep their head down, and they just let people touch them. Sometimes that's enough, but what would be nice is if they kind of just kept their chin up and just went like that and let people see their face, because that means something to people. So for me, it's just like, if I can allow people to just see me for a second, that is kind of enough to a lot of people, because they do recognize that you got stuff to do. You can't be there all day. So I think that's a way of also my keeping your energy high, is so that you don't run out. So maybe reducing and I know some fans may think different, but sometimes it's okay to only be at a booth for an hour, because then you allow people to see you for a certain segment. And then if you want to do a seminar, then that's when everybody can come over and ask questions and tell you things that, you can have that more one-on-one. But when it's a meet and greet, it's a little different, because,
let me ask you this, because you said something earlier. You said that you remembered when you met somebody and you stayed there for the pictures and everything like that. And you're just like me in the sense, because I remember being a kid and standing in line to meet Lee Haney, Gary Strider, Matt Mendenhall, and these guys, or the first time Sergio Olivier, and I'm just sitting there looking at this guy, and I'm like, oh. But I remember and how I felt, and how that memory, which is just, with Lee Haney, I was such a kid, and I talked to him for a second, but it stayed with me forever, to the point of when I was talking to him at the last Arnold at Olympia or something. I was just talking about, dude, when I met you, man, I was just like, you said, I still remember to this day, just the energy.
Yes.
And so that triggers, and the reason why I'm saying this is because it's a moment in time that I will forever remember. And when I go into the gym today and people go, well, you still train today? I don't get it. I was on stage in 1983 and I'm still guest posing now. what is it that keeps me going? And when I walk through the gym, it's the moment I first walked through the gym at 13 years old, I'm still that kid.
Yeah.
Now, the two things is, one, Lee Haney motivated me because he was doing something he loved and he was great at it.
Mm-hmm.
And then I was doing lifting, and that motivated me because something I loved. So how can, again, I'm going to put you on the spot. When people say, hey, I want to motivate the world. Well, I don't think it works that way. I don't think you wake up one day and go, hey, I'm going to motivate the world. I'm going to go speak and talk about this, and that's going to motivate everybody. I don't think it works that way. I think you have to do something like you did that is in you, that you freaking loved. Mm-hmm. And then you experienced it on that battle of the road by yourself, in a sense. And then you accomplished it. And it's a path that you did, that you loved, that actually motivates people. It's not you just going, I'm going to motivate the world. That's what I'm doing. I got a social media page, and that's what, how can you talk to these kids and tell them you got to find something for yourself first?
Yeah, that's,
how do you talk to these kids?
I think it's very difficult. But overall, you just have to figure out what your why in life is. Like, what is your why in everything you do? Why are you doing this? And if you say, well, I want to inspire everybody, well, do you realize that life is also about figuring out who the hell you is? Like, you have to figure yourself out. And you don't have it perfected. I can tell you from, I am 41 years young, and I don't have it mastered. And have I had a lot of success? Yeah, sure. To whose standard, but to my own, I'm like, man, I've got a lot to learn. And by those lessons of experiencing success, overcoming adversity, the word triumph comes to mind. I do think that you have greater wisdom into helping people, but I don't think that your goal should be like, well, I'm just going to inspire the world. It's like, you want to help the world. See, you can be inspiring people and not really helping. And what I mean by that is, are you really willing to give the time necessary to help everybody to really dive deep into things? Do you actually understand? And at 20 years old, you probably don't, the human psyche and what triggers them. You're not a psychologist. Like, you haven't studied the brain enough. You haven't gone through life enough to understand how to help everybody. But what you can do is find out what you're, figure out what you're good at, what you really like, and be freaking amazingly passionate about it. Be relentless about it. And then just bring people along with you. Just bring people along with you, because I don't have to say I'm an influencer or inspirational person by just bringing you in, letting you see. You'll figure it out for yourself, just like what we're sharing here. People will find value in it or not. But I think it's very difficult these days because of social media being like more important. Like, I'm a YouTuber than, like, I was having a conversation with Hani the other day, my trainer. I said, hey, Hani, bodybuilder or influencer, which one do you pick? And it's very difficult. So for those people, there is no wrong answer. There's no right one either. But my point is like, if you're leading with gratitude and wanting to help, other people, that is inspirational. People will find inspiration. Wow, that guy's really positive. Wow, that guy is willing to help people. Like Mike, like, you help people in the gym. You watch their form and technique. We're all about technicians and tweaking just a little bit and then asking for feedback. And they say, wow, like, I never felt that before. Okay, that's cool. That was your gift to that person. That's inspirational. So I think and how did that come about? It took you years of grinding and reading and trial and error to get to that point. So I think it's a long process, but I do think if you lead with gratitude and find out why you're doing this and really write it down, like, look, like, I got, notebooks and all that stuff. I say, well, why do you compete? Why do you do things? There you go. Like, why? And read it over.
So
And if, like it'll answer itself at some point.
for me, obviously, I would lift, and I would lift all the time, pay or no pay. I love it. I love the battle, and I love the battle against somebody else, but I love the mental battle with myself.
Right.
And I try to talk to people and kids today, and the first thing they say is, well, I want to get the pro card, or I want to influence people. I want to be an influencer and stuff like that. And I said, if you're looking for a payback, you're not going to stay with it.
Right.
Because it doesn't happen quick. And I remember the first day I went into my acting class, and he says, if you're here for money and fame, get out. And I think that's a brilliant statement, because I try to tell these kids that are going to compete, if you take first, you're going to be happy. If you take 15th, are you still going to be happy? Are you still going to be able to work towards your next goal? Is that the start? The show, when you win the show, that's the start. Everything else is just labor in front of that. You win the show. Now the PR comes. So if you truly love it and don't expect anything back, I guess that would be the gratitude, going, I'm just glad I get to get up and do this. Absolutely. And for me, people say, well, what keeps you motivated? I got 2 arms and 2 legs at work, and I can lift a shitload, and I love the battle. So why do you think I do it? But
that's your why. See, you've already explained it. That's your why. Like, and I think we should ask people why. We should be more curious, like a child. Kids ask, why, mom? Why, dad? Why? They get obsessed with why. At some point in time, we stop asking ourselves and other people why. Why is drinking, 2 gallons of water good for me? Why is eating 5 times a day good for me? Why is training 2 hours a day under massive amounts of stress, good for me? Like, why is this? Why is it like? Why do I need this pro card? Why, why? And what is it going to do for me? And you have to figure out, okay, case in point, I did my first bodybuilding show, April 4th, 2003. Why did I get up there? Because my friends pushed me into doing it. And I was like, well, let's see. And then I get up there and I was like, holy smokes, this is pretty fun. That was my why. It was fun. And I realized that every time I got on stage, I experienced a level of anxiety. And I never liked public speaking growing up, even though I loved to talk in class, which is weird. But I conquered some fears as well, going from basketball to wearing basically nothing on stage in front of strangers, hitting poses. Whoa, I was able to conquer some things. So I was able to develop more self-confidence and love myself, because with bodybuilding, yeah, you love your muscles, but later on in life, why did I do it? Because I wanted to love myself. It was teaching me lessons when I got hit with levels of adversity. Why am I doing this? And it always came back to, because I freaking love it, man. When I was going through, I went through divorce, still won the Olympia. When I went through, I was at Dave Lieberman's show, and gosh, it was like yesterday, literally almost yesterday. Was it 6 years ago? Almost 6 years ago to the day. I was at Dave Lieberman's show, and my dad had passed. And I still had to go up there, do the posing, had the best routine though, and still go do what we do after the show, which is what? We go get cleaned up and we go do the VIP dinner and we shake everybody's hand, take pictures. Why did I continue to do that? Because I loved the sport. I love what it allowed me to do. It allowed me to also have the resources to visit my father before his death every week while I was living in Denver. He was living in Seattle. Bodybuilding allowed me those resources through my hard work. Why? Okay. And why would I go want to chat with people right after that happened? Because I know that my dad would want me to do that. And I would want people to recognize that I'm a real professional, because a real professional does those things. So the word why had to always come into mind. And, why would I start a business? Because I want to help people, because I want to be able to use my business degree You know, like those are things that come into your head, but I think gets lost in the translation because we get so fixated on like you said, like money, gratification, validation from others, stuff like that. But and you'll wake up empty as hell inside because that why didn't mean shit. You were living for everybody else, and you know maybe you needed to do something else. Like your acting coach said, if you're here because of the money, you need to leave. If you're here because you enjoy the self exploration of being a thespian and this and that and learning new things, then yeah, you're in the right place because you're going to have that willingness to learn, no matter if you're getting paid or not.
There's one of the biggest things in health and fitness is to appease these judges. And so with everybody that's coming into the sport now, it is all about, this is what the judges said I need to do. This is what the judges said I need to change. Mm-hmm. What would your best recommendation for them be? Would it be to, because I don't know if it's different than what my opinion is. I'm curious on what you would say to somebody who says, if this is what the 9 judges says that you need to be, then you need to be that.
I would think first and foremost, you got to be honest with yourself. You have to, sorry, my dog is running around.
That's all right.
But you got to be honest with yourself and going into any prep, each person has a vision of what they want to look like. They already know what they currently look like. Okay. All right. So, you want to know, okay, if I'm training and if I'm dieting and this and that, I'm putting myself in the position to look a certain way. You should already know whether you've made leaps and bounds throughout your prep just by from the first week to the last week of prep. If you haven't made much improvement, that's your guide right there. You should already know this, and you should be able to go back to that notebook that we got, figure out what the hell I did, and dissect, why did I eat this? Why did I train this way? Why did I take this supplement over this one? You know, everything you have to start with why before you start seeking, you know, even validation from a judge. Now, when they adjudicate you, they're basing that adjudication based on who you're standing next to. So it is kind of hard because that person, yeah, maybe just because you trained your legs, maybe that person trained them harder, or maybe they're just more genetically blessed than you in that area. That doesn't mean that you don't look at it and say, well, I'm no good. It just says, maybe I only have to be a 5% better in that area to stand next to them. Case in point, I remember, gosh, it was, you'll remember this. This was when I got second at the Arnold Classic in 2010. I didn't like that placing at all. I did not like it. I hated it. I still do, right? How did I get better instead of being bitter? Was look over the pictures, say, can I get better than that? It was a simple question. Can I get better than this? I didn't need to go up to, I remember going up to Weinberger and he was just like, the show could have went either way, Phil. I said, okay. And you could ask him. I wasn't like in tears. I wasn't furious. I wasn't anything. I was just like, okay. He was like, you good? I was like, yeah, I'm good. You know why I was good? Because I said to myself right away, I said, can you be better than this? Because this doesn't feel right. And the rest was history. I never lost to him again. But if I would have not asked myself, can I get better than this? And will I do it to get better than this? Then so it starts with self. Like, you got to be willing to just be like, look, man, like I could have been better, but you know what? You know, I was doing that 30-day Titan, challenge, and I only did it for 20. Well, you're not going to get the results then. So you really have to be honest. But it starts with yourself. The judges, I mean, they see so many people, man. It's so hard for them. So they're just trying to give you a little something. But it's up to you to kind of look at those pictures and be like, am I satisfied? The answer should be no. If the answer is yes, then you're going to be satisfied whatever they give you as well. You have to be okay with that.
I'm around these guys that are monsters out here. and I get these 300-pound guys, and they go, well, I got to do this, I got to do that. And I'm like, I see the mindset going to appease these judges, I have to do this. And I'm looking at them going, do you like your physique like this, or do you like it maybe at 270? And he goes, well, I like it at 270. And for me, I was lucky enough that I got to train and live my life for how I liked my body, instead of trying to appease somebody. And I thought that was a great gift that Joe Weider gave me early on as a young kid, when I was believing my own hype. And I was around some of the guys that I was shooting with. We just finished up the Olympia, and I was 20 years old. And he said to me, he goes, you like how you look? And I go, yeah. And he goes, then stay like that. You don't need to change anything. How you are, you could be a success just like you're doing right now. And I was like, wow. And he said that after everybody left and all that stuff. He goes, I want to say this to you right now. I want to say this to you by yourself, alone. What's the goal here and all that? And he told me that. And I was like, oh, wow, that saves me a lifetime of trying to appease people at such a young age. I was such in a mindset that I got to appease the judges. I get my pro card. After I get my pro card, that means the Lamborghini gets sent to me in the big mansion, right? Because you get that instantly as soon as you get the pro card. And I'm like, it was like, no, it doesn't work that way. And
no,
it wasn't, I didn't need to go that other route. And I got to enjoy lifting. Like you said, it's fun. And the growth within yourself from going in and doing battle and training for something and going through those 12-week training plans to get ready for something, or to get ready for guest posing. As simple as those are, it's fun to do it. So it's a nice touch.
You were able to, you were able to do that, but you also have to, I mean, you already know this, but a lot of people have to go back into your history and say, okay, well, what was Mike doing when he was a kid? You know, self-discipline. How did he get self-discipline? He did martial arts. It requires a lot of self-discipline. It allows yourself to figure out who you are, strengths, weaknesses, everything, and be at peace with yourself. And that's what Joe was doing, was allowing you to have peace with yourself. Another person that had that same peace, in my opinion, there's two people. One was Sean Ray. Another one was Dexter Jackson. They didn't change for nobody. Kind of stayed relatively the same as far as their weight was concerned. I mean, Dexter probably had he had a much different transformation, obviously, how he turned pro and how he ended as far as weight is concerned. But I use them as an example because you didn't see much change as far as their look. They made sure they were complete and that they were in great condition. That's it. For me, it was a little different because I was like, okay, I came from a basketball body, had to recreate everything. But I never had to play the size game. And some people will say, oh, yeah, you did. No, that I still recall the Olympia that I competed against Ramy and I won. I was weighing like in the mid 240s. So therefore, he beat me. I beat him. He probably was weighing like 280, 290. So if I was to try to, think, okay, well, they're rewarding size and this now, or like when Kai beat me at the Arnold, like he obviously outweighed me by a tremendous amount. How did I beat guys like him and Jay Cutler? They obviously outweighed me. Him, Ramy, all those guys outweighed me. Majority of the guys that I beat at the Olympia outweighed me. What I did was be a better version of myself. Little bit here and there, little bit here and there. And ultimately, like Joe was telling you, and you've lived this through and through, you know who the hell you are, you love yourself, and you're not changing for nobody, because at the end of the day, you gotta love this life. And you're not gonna be something that you're not. And if you're being and think about all the new kids coming out feeling like they gotta be freaking ginormous, like you're saying.
Yeah.
Are they really happy about that shit? We don't know. Maybe they're tricking themselves at feeling like that.
I know. I actually do know. They don't.
Yeah, they don't. Who wants to have to eat like that and do what they do? No, you're being limited. And what if it doesn't work? See, that's the crazy part. What if that doesn't work? Now you got to get bigger? Oh man, now you just ruined it. So it's definitely something where it is a hero's journey at the end of the day. Like, you really have to be in tune with what you want, what you think you're gonna get, what the true return on investment is, and then you just go for it. And if it doesn't work, I mean, you sometimes have to say, damn, man, I probably shouldn't have done that. I came in too heavy. And maybe the judges don't even know, because here in the open class, there is no scale.
I'm going to take this out of bodybuilding because you just said something. You said, oh, I messed up. I gave it all my gut for what they wanted, and I messed up, and now I just wasted that time. You just said something I think is a metaphor for everybody. If you want to play the piano, if you truly want to play it, give it everything you got. If you want to do the acting or whatever job it is, or a business. But if you're doing it for you, I think truly, if you're doing it 100% for you and it doesn't work, at least you know you gave it everything you got for something that you believed in.
Right.
But if you give everything you got to appease other people and you still come up empty-handed, you know, the guy that wants to deadlift 1,000 pounds, well, does he want to do it for himself or does he want to do it for everybody else? Because, you know, I get 1,000 pounds is a cool freaking number. I love it. But you tear out your back and you're walking around all bent over for the rest of your life. It's like, okay, if I was doing it for me, I understood that process and I understand the risks I'm taking. But if I do it for everybody else and I injure myself, if I jump off the cliff with my motorcycle, it's such a, there's two folds to that. If you're giving everything for everybody else, you're not going to maintain it, or you're going to be bitter the rest of your life if you don't get there.
You'll be bitter. You'll be bitter as hell. And you will have then looked at it as a waste of time, whether you have won titles or not, because you'll realize, damn, man, this whole time I did it but I did it for you. And they're gonna look at you and be like, but you should have been doing it. Like, literally, fans and friends and family will be like, you should have been doing this for yourself. You know, and that's the hard part, is that we're in a society now where, like, if you're competing in this sport, there is a level of your psyche that wants to have validation. Come on. I mean, there's a percentage that, yeah, you do. That's why you post, and you want to be validated for your hard work and how you look and this and that. But if that comes over, like if that's like way up here and what you want is down here, oh man, I hate to say it, man, but you're kind of developing some patterns that will potentially create some mental illness.
Can we explain something to the people that are watching right now, these kids? Can we explain to them about fans?
Yeah.
Because I would like to do this, because I think, I don't want to take your whole day up, but there's such a depth to what you've been able to accomplish and do. First of all, you're a college basketball player.
Yep.
How tall are you?
5'0", but I used to say 5'0", but I'm 5'9.5". So
you could slam.
Not very tall, but I had a really good vertical leap back in the day, and could dunk and could run, do all the things I can't do now. but yeah, I was able to have good fun.
Mr. Olympia, numerous, crushing it.
Mm-hmm.
So you're famous. Everybody knows you. Everybody knows about you. Everybody I talk to looks up to you. Terry Crews talks about you. All my guys, Billy Gunn talks about you. All these people know you, and you're this iconic person. How fickle are fans? How much are they there one day and gone the next? How important is fame that it's there and gone the next?
I think it's very difficult, because you don't know also why they're there. How do I describe it? Okay, so when I was first started competing, you know, in the pros and stuff, obviously I came out guns blazing, acquired some fans. Then it got to be a lot. And then after you start winning a lot, you start getting hit with a lot of expectations from fans, because they do it in all sports. So your flavor of the month, you know, to a degree, and what that does on a personal level, it could be devastating because you're like, wait a minute, I was just on the cover of Flex or MD, and now it's the next person that they're saying that is the future of. Remember, they used to have these articles that said the future, the future, the future, the future, Mr. O. I used to hate that. And then I realized, I'm like, dude, first of all, they're trying to sell a product. Now with fans, man, like they can love you all. See, I had to come to a realization that I don't own them. I don't own these fans. These are people that support me one day and they could be gone the next. What I should be more focused on is, are they supporting the sport that I love? And I've said it on numerous occasions. I love my fans, but I love the fact that you love the sport, because if I'm still here or I'm not here, do you still love it? I want you to still love it because of what it's done for me and what it can do for you. But let me tell you, after that second, third Mr. Olympia, man, the social media was heavy, and it really made me into the hero villain, and those same people started rooting for other guys because maybe they wanted to see other people win. And I had asked a couple of guys, and I started just paying attention to what people were saying. And some people was just like, I just want to see someone else win. I like this guy. I like this guy. Or I like this guy. I would be at booths and literally hear someone tell Dexter, yeah, you're going to win. You're my favorite bodybuilder. Then come to me and tell me the same exact thing. So all I know is that they love the sport. And if I get upset because they love more than one guy, I mean, I love Superman, Batman, I love all these different comic book heroes. I love Jordan. I love Magic. I love Kobe, LeBron, Damian Lillard. I should be able to love them all. So, I can't just stand there and say, well, I own you because you were once my fan in 2011, and now you're not. Now, what I will say that sucks is that the fans sometimes can go from loving you to hating you for just no reason. And that can be because they feel like, well, I can't be a fan of Kai Green and Phil Heath at the same time, can I? No, I got to be team this or team that. No, you don't. A free thinker would say, well, I just like them both. And I just want to see the best man win. They both do great things. But that's sometimes because of narratives and this and that, people make you choose. So it is tough. I can only imagine what the new breed of athlete has to endure, and they really have to know why they're doing this. They really have to have a close knit of friends, and even those friends can turn against you. Look, the same crew I rode with now ain't the same crew I was once with. I used to have, after the Olympia, probably just under 90 people on a VIP list walking in with me at Excess Nightclub Las Vegas. I stopped doing those appearances. Nothing against the nightclub. I love it. But I just realized their why I didn't like. And what they were doing was not good. And then next thing you know, case in point, the minute I said, you know what, I'm not going to do a nightclub appearance this year. You know how many of those friends didn't show up to even have a bite of cake with me after I won? Or worse yet, like in 2018 when I lost the Olympia, I can tell you how many people were in my room. There were no 90 people. There was only like 11. How messed up was that? So it could get really ugly if you allow it, and then you just have to take it as a lesson. And all great athletes have had this moment. I guarantee you, all of them have. And that's when you find out who is there for you and why they're there.
It's usually, I guess for me, it's I like for what Lee Haney did for me, or those moments. It was more than him being a bodybuilder. It was his intelligence of understanding the philosophy of weightlifting and the mechanics of it, and how he was as a human and how he carried himself. That's what I loved about him. And there's others, mostly from that era, because I was such my era and stuff, that I got to meet and train with these guys and train with Tom Plaz and Robbie throughout the decades. And it's the individual that overrides the accomplishments for me.
Mm-hmm.
And when it gets to that point, it's my Bruce Lee moment. It's like, I love Bruce Lee forever. I love it because he came over here, a foreigner, and crushed it and did something and said the whole martial arts world was wrong and his way was right. And he's a young 20-year-old buck, and he was right. But it was the way he carried himself and his passion, who he was. It's cool to see that transition. But one of the things that I notice is that when it's on the surface and they're only a fan of your accomplishment, you won this, that's why I like you, instead of the individual. See, I like you because you're a dog guy. I like you because you and your girl are great. You know, it's you and yours and my talks when we guest pose together and those kind of things. That to me is who I'm talking to and who I like more than the trophy. The trophy's great. The trophy's so few people in the world, but it's the human in those moments that I'll remember with you and talking to you and your character on that aspect that I think is awesome. And I hope that people out there today that are watching this and go, oh, it's cool. This is Phil, you know, and it's the individual that you are, that I hope all these people today understand that you are a class act and you're a great guy and a great human.
Well, I appreciate that. No, I truly do. And, you know, it's always cool to, you know, be around like-minded people, but like yourself, that, you know, have awesome values. And I think that's what, you know, I value the most. And, you know, why do I have friends? I have friends that, you know, we share a certain commonality with. The bodybuilding stuff is just a sugar on the top, right? That's just like, you know, being a good person. You're always doing that. I mean, obviously you love animals, which you know, that's great. You're a family guy. You know, I love the fact that you've always been able to do different things. I still remember, gosh, this is dating us back. I still remember you hitting me up about how you were going to do that, trying to break the world record for smashing through those windows. And I was like, I don't know how the hell he's going to do it, but he's going to do this. And I was like, how cool is it that someone hits me up and tells me this stuff, and he goes out there and just makes things happen. I said, I gotta align myself with these types, because, you know, you're a go-getter, and that's what's influential to me. Obviously your relationship with Mona. I mean, I've known Mona for a long time. You know, she's great. She's awesome. She's a genetic specimen. I don't know what planet she's come from. Probably where Wonder Woman come from. I mean, it's just like, we're just watching Wonder Woman the other day, and I'm like, yeah, that's pretty much Mona right there. Like, okay, all right, cool. But yeah, you know, I think it's I think where I'm at now in my life is a place where I do want people to see me as a whole, right? And I appreciate our dialogue, because not many, you know, I don't do a ton of, you know, talks, interviews, etc. And maybe it's I was trying to ask myself, why don't you do more of this stuff? And I'm like, probably because of the people who I don't align with, and because I don't want to be fake. But thank you for, you know, allowing me this opportunity. And, you know, there's a level of vulnerability that comes from my part, you know, to let people in. But, you know, I'm excited to, you know, let more people know that fun-loving guy, love probably the same things that they love. That's why I probably met more people off of Twitter than Instagram, just because we talk about random stuff, music, games, cars, fashion, books, you know, all kind of fun, cool stuff. But overall, we're all the same. You know, some of us just have bigger arms than the next. but overall, you know, we just, you know, want to live a good, blessed life. And anytime we can lend a hand, a level of encouragement, you know, while showing a lot of passion and toward our goals, is always important. You know, I just, you know, I'll tell you this real quick. When I would drive to the gym I used to always drive past the cemetery, and people used to ask, well, why share this? And I'm like, there's a reason because of it. Because I realized what my why was. And they're like, what? Like, what? Because you're going to die one day? I'm like, yes. But I used to drive over there and I used to see people. Some people mourning, obviously, some people celebrating. I mean, I've seen people with a whole band out there. Um, and I told myself, I said, Phil, like, you won't be at this particular site, but you will be somewhere one day. But what will that headstone mean to you? And on my worst days, I go to the gym, I'm like, Phil, like, you're building a legacy. You want your friends, your family to know that, like, man, when they pass that, they're like, man, he was a great bodybuilder, but man, let me tell you a story about Phil Heath. He was you know what I'm saying? Like, he was a great bodybuilder, but let me tell you a story about the time that he and I were just hanging out. We're just talking and just visiting with each other. We're playing with kids, and we're telling jokes and poking fun at each other. Let's talk about those things and those memories that we talked about an hour ago, right? Is that we created these memories, and it always put a smile on my face. And I just want people to remind themselves that, especially right now, it is the most imperative time to find out who the hell you are and how much you've overcome. Pat yourself on the back and say, I've overcome a lot, but I got a lot more to do. And if I stay in gratitude and I keep pushing forward, I'm not going to be fake about this. I'm going to be real with myself. I'm going to analyze these things, but I am going to be in the moment when that time comes to celebrate, because we do need a celebration. We need to do it while we're here, and always be in that moment. So then when it's time to go to work, we're like, yeah, I'll go to work. And then I can go play, then I can hang out and have fun while you're doing it, because we're not promised tomorrow, as you know.
As everybody's listening to this, and I imagine there's tons of people here going, hey, I want to know about the training. I want to know what keeps you motivated. What's your diet like? I hope there's going to be a portion of you that get it, that the last hour that we've been talking is about that. And everything that we just talked about is a metaphor why we train so hard and why we do what we do, so we can have the moments. It isn't about the title as much as it is the drive and passion we have for driving by the graves, the grave sites and stuff, and that keeping you relevant and in the front of your mind of, I need to keep pushing, I need to keep driving. It's me not being able to read and write as a kid and getting teased and getting fights every day. It's that stuff that keeps us motivated and fighting for what we can do. And then the gratitude that you said and the continuously learning is what keeps us moving forward to be the very best we can. And I know that this comes with time, and all you kids are listening to this going, you old guys are talking about this. It's trust me, if you could learn this now, you guys would rule the world.
Gosh, I wish, brother, I wish someone, man, I'd be
right.
Dude,
that old cliche, the old man saying to the young kid, if I knew what I knew now, I would rule the world at your age.
Oh my gosh. And you know where I grew up. It was not easy. So if I would have had a champion of anything come to my neighborhood and just give me some access, I would have not only been, well, I mean, look, I turned out pretty good, but a lot of other people would have too. Yeah, but a lot of other guys and girls would have probably been impacted positively as well. We have so much to offer, and I think that's the beauty of getting older, is that you can go into a form not just of working on yourself and becoming great at what your craft is, but having that ability to give back. Contribution is key. My contribution to the sport, my contribution to the world, comes from all of the things that I've gone through. And for all the kids, it's like you have to be firm in your beliefs. You have to really look around, play life with your eyes, and see, are these people aligned with what I believe in? Are they doing right, or are they doing wrong? Why am I feeling so compelled to hang out with this crowd over this crowd? Why am I compelled to hang out with any crowd? Am I trying to blend in or stand out? And why? And then enjoying it and just learning. And I think if people lead with more love and appreciation, the gratitude, but to really go after it on your worst day. And
Thank you.
I'm owning this, and I'm owning this word, this phrase, live life like leg day.
Oh,
Okay? Because if someone says, "Hey Mike, what are we training tomorrow?" Arms. Oh, great, I'll see you at 6 a.m. Okay, so Friday, what are we training today? Legs. Oh man.
can't
Yeah,
make.
so I gotta take my kids to school, I gotta do this, I gotta do this. You gotta reframe those patterns. You gotta change that mindset and say, you know what, even on the worst day, I'm willing to show up and make it my best day. You can lead with that, man. Like, you're gonna be better than probably 90% of the people that you're around because you're willing to go the extra step. You're just gonna go through it.
I 100% echo that. It is, the champions are made on the worst days, not on the great days.
No.
The days that you're down, the days that, you know, somebody passes and you got to continue forward and you grieve within yourself. Those are the days. So I agree.
Celebrate life, man. Celebrate life as much as you can, and enjoy, and to work hard and to play it smart and to have some fun.
Thanks for doing this today, my man.
No problem, man. No, this was great. I haven't done this in quite some time, and I think we should do it again another time. Gosh, with everything going on.
Get your girl and my girl on here too, so we can
Yeah,
teach
that'll.
couples and how to work together. And
Oh man,
yeah,
they're going to get together and tell jokes about us. That's what you're going to do.
yeah, absolutely. Those two, I love it.
Yeah, for sure. But much love, my man. Shout out to all the fans out there. Thank you for watching. Thanks for having me on, Mike. Truly appreciate it.
I appreciate it. I'm going to bug you again, though.
Yep. Go ahead.
Thanks, champ.
All right, brother.
Wow. Man, that was that's something. Man, for everybody out there that's watching this right now, there's so much depth to what he was talking about that is the foundation of whatever the passion is that you want to do. So, man, I really hope that you guys watch it again. Go over there and give him a props on him taking time out of his schedule, because he doesn't do this. He doesn't do a lot of Zooms and podcasts and stuff like that. He is a private individual and should be. He's a great guy, and I've known him for forever. But it's just it's cool to see the passion with him, and also the one of the big things is like ties to the gym, and what he does to keep his mind in the game is such a big thing. So it's an incredible thing. Hey, you set up the bench up to inclined. Yeah. But I'm glad I got to bring him on here and do this. There's so much wealth in what he said. And I know that a lot of you kids are probably going, well, I want to know about training and what he eats and stuff. That's secondary to the passion. It is secondary to the passion. If you guys are going to continue to do this for a lifetime, it really is second to the passion. You're going to learn how to eat, but that eating and nutrition is only going to be good for a good year. And then you're going to get older and you're going to have to change it and training. But the way he lives life, and I love driving by the cemetery, and that it keeps him going. I need to build a legacy, that drive. We have that drive to do that. Just to be the freaking best we possibly can. And don't do this for somebody else. Don't try to appease other people. Don't go down that route, because that's going to steer you the wrong way. Don't hang out with the wrong crowd. I don't care that they're the only ones there for you right now. It's probably better for you to be alone. Be around the ones that are taking you up a notch. But yeah, this just it was cool for him to do that for us and be on there with us. Again, doesn't do it a lot, and he's a great human. And a dog guy too, so I love it. I love it, and we'll get him back on here too, just for a lot of you that are trying to figure out how can you make your schedule work with family, kids, life, and everything like that. And how does your significant other come into play to support you during this time? Because it's tough, man. It's tough. It's not like I'm going to date somebody that doesn't understand the health and fitness lifestyle. And a lot of you probably were not into the health and fitness lifestyle when you met your significant other. And so now you're into this marriage or whatever it is, and with kids and stuff. And now you're going, hey, now I want to get healthy. And you're trying to figure it out where your significant other is not into it. So we'll kind of go into that at another time. Let me know what you guys want to see. What do you want to see next? Anything like that. But I think let's just sit on this one, enjoy this, and that he took his time today to talk to us. All right. Jeffrey, get your water. 3 more days to the purge. Get your water in. All right, I gotta bust out of here. This will be put up on YouTube. It's already up on YouTube. Is it on my Twitch account?
It's already up on
Serge did that.
Serge ain't do shit. You want to know who did it? You want to know who did it? This guy right here.
That guy right there. He did it. He did it. Yeah. All right, guys. Have a great day today. I'll see you later. Oh, hey, one final note.
Already ended it. No,
did you notice that he had a notebook? We have notebooks. We have notebooks. I know this is something maybe somebody told you to do. It's something I've done my whole life. Get your notebook, take down your notes, take down your workouts.
We saw the notebook upstairs.
Oh, they did. They saw I started a notebook when I was a youngster, and we're going to turn that in so you guys can see how I trained at 11, 12, 13 years old and how I took notes at that time and what programs I was doing. So that's it.
That's it, dog.
Hey, what do you guys think of this? It's a new shirt.
Pretty clean. Pretty clean.
See you guys.
All right, Serge, get in there. Serge, we're going live now.
Serge, go in there.
Serge, the real conversation. I already ended it. Already ended it, dog. Just kidding. Serge, get in there.
Serge, get in there.
Listen to that notebook.